Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another Creatism for the Disney Save. Today is a special kind of video. I'm going to be adding 2 characters in today's video to the save file, but sort of unofficially. These are what I'm calling bonus characters. These will remain on the gallery as gallery exclusives. My gallery is linked down below, or it's tagged down below. It's TomilynYT, I believe, so that you can follow me if you want to, but in general, just if you want these Sims, that is where you're going to find them. And basically, I'm introducing this idea similar to the idea in the past that I've presented with bonus lots or extra lots, basically going to be adding in extra characters to the save file that won't exist as townies free roaming in the save by default, just because maybe their characters don't necessarily make sense to be sort of like roaming freely around the world, or I don't want them to take up a slot for a character because we have so many coming down the line and maybe these are just not as important to have, but they're too highly requested to ignore. And also in particular, these 2 Sims that we're going to be creating today come from Disney sequel films, which I have mentioned previously. I am trying to avoid the inclusion of too many of the sequel films, but considering that Melody is the only daughter that we have of a Disney prince and princess couple, she was extremely highly requested and I grew up with this film. I loved her character. I loved the second film growing up. I wanted to go ahead and make a version that is downloadable, so it'll be on the gallery and it'll just sort of remain there, and they'll be listed on my gallery as bonus Disney save Sims. First one today being Melody. The other reason in particular that I wanted to try to do Melody is because I have this thing way back from when I used to stream on Twitch where a couple of times people would make comments to me sort of implying that because of the way that I design Sims and they have some very angular and particular and over-exaggerated features, the very large eyes, the long pointy noses, depending on the character, it was going to result in some very weird genetics when it came to trying to actually make children for some of these characters. If you wanted to, if you were gonna like go ahead and play through the whole story or beyond what is shown in the films and kind of make your own stories, people were really concerned that the children were just not gonna look super great. We tested it on stream once or twice and the results definitely vary, but I'm happy to say that I did actually use my Eric and Ariel when creating my Melody, and she didn't turn out all that bad. I did change her face a little bit so that she looks more like the character that we've seen in the film, but I don't think she was that far off from what you would think that she would look like. So genetically speaking, she's not even that bad, but a lot of people were kind of worried that when you tried to actually breed the 2 of them, it just wasn't going to look exactly like her. So I've made a version for you guys, and she does have to be a teen, unfortunately. She's a little bit older than how she's depicted in her film because you can only make mermaids teen or older, so you could obviously age her down all the way to a baby, or maybe there's even a new cheat from Growing Together to get a sim all the way down to an infant and then start from there, or you could add her into the household at the age that she is and sort of play from there, kind of picking up from the point in the second film where you see the story start to unfold. But I do recognize that she probably should be a little bit younger. It's just that it's not going to allow me with the game. Also, I think her outfit and her clothes sort of don't match the timeline of the rest of the films. Granted, it does seemingly take place at least 10 to 12 years later, but her clothes to me are just, they don't really fit with the rest of the characters and the way that I've designed them, even like Triton and his daughters and their everyday wear when they're not mermaids. So I'm kind of glad that she's not just going to be like free roaming in the save file because she doesn't really fit with the rest of them. However, I think it's still cool to have her there as an option. She does get shown in quite a few different outfits in her film. There is one yellow dress at the end of the movie. There's the everyday look that she wears, which is kind of like this tan tank top and tan matching pants. And then she also has a scene where she has like kind of a ball, I think it's her birthday, and they put her in a bright pink dress. So I have given her a couple of different outfit options to coordinate with the outfits that are shown in the film. Now her hair, through most of the creative sim, you see me sticking with this side ponytail. It's only because we really don't have a ton of ponytail options, if I'm honest. I would love for them to add a few more, but it wasn't voluminous enough. Like, she has this really big, beautiful beautiful ponytail. She's got a lot of hair. It's just tucked back. And she also has kind of these bangs that come down in front of her face a little bit. So I wanted to give her a ponytail that I felt like just fit her a little bit better. That one is from base game as well, that side one, and it's just not one of my favorite hairs in the game. So at the very, very end, you'll see that I do switch it for one of the newer ones that we've gotten, and I think I like that one a lot better. And then of course her mermaid version, which does include the cloth sort of top that she wears in her everyday wear, as well as a red tail, which is shown in the film as kind of like a salmon color, but we did not have that color available. I also saw some fan art of her where she's aged up a little bit, and a lot of people, the general consensus is that her top color would probably be green. So I gave her an extra outfit choice with the green clam top in case you wanted it. The other bonus character that I am adding exclusively to the gallery is Queen Athena from the Little Mermaid Ariel's Beginning. Technically the third film, but it is a prequel, and she is the girl's mother. She was also super highly requested, but it doesn't make sense for me to have her as a townie because she is no longer living in the events of any of the films, and she's not even really shown for more than I think like 5 minutes of the third film. So you don't get to see too much of her, and I just didn't feel like a lot of people would know who she was if she was like freely roaming around the Disney save. So I'm just going to be adding her as a bonus character in case you want to go all the way back to the beginning of the Little Mermaid story. She looks pretty much exactly like Athena, so you'll see that I've taken my Athena sim that I made from the previous King Triton Creative Sim video and cloned her instead, and then just aged her up, maybe changed the shape of her body a little bit more, but she does have this like brighter orange hair, more so than Athena does. Athena actually has her father's hair, which is shown in the film, in that film, to be kind of like this brown auburn color. She has more of like a traditional bright reddy orangey sort of hair. She's really pretty. She looks a lot like Ariel as well. I get a lot of her vibe when looking at her. One thing that was difficult when creating her is that she is a character that suffers from color disorientation depending on what the shading is. And I've seen like, I always read Disney Wiki when I'm trying to create characters to get the color that Disney Wiki lists as like the official canon color. But I sometimes think Disney Wiki is wrong. I don't remember if this character is one of those examples of it being wrong, but I just noticed that when I was looking for references for her, sometimes her clam top was blue and sometimes it was green, sometimes her tail was blue and sometimes it was green. So I decided to try to go for something in the middle, but I really was like kind of bouncing back and forth between the two colors for a while, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with what's right in the middle. I'll go with a bluey green tail and a purpley bluey top. She looks a lot like Ariel in that aspect. However, it's very clearly someone else. Like, it doesn't look like an older Ariel. It looks like someone who could be Ariel's mother, which I was very happy with. She also wears a very chunky clam or seashell necklace, and we have that beautiful one that comes from Island Living, so really, really excited to use that on her because I think it just totally fits her entire vibe. And those are the two bonus characters for The Little Mermaid. These are not townies. Again, I want to make that just super, super clear. I will have a separate townies video that comes out. I just created these guys kind of in the middle of my builds, and I wanted to go ahead and show you guys how they turned out. They should be on the gallery relatively soon, linked in my description box down below, as well as my Patreon if you'd like to support the Disney Save, or at the end of the video get yourself access to early works in progress and my private Disney Save Discord. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all in the next one.